Welcome back to the latest episode of Road to 70.3. If you've been following through Into the Well, from time to time, I've been doing some tour reviews on different accessories and gear, runners, things like that have helped me recover, run better, things I've been sent to test out. Generally things that I have some experience with, that I like, and I can recommend from personal experience. And so this is going to be the first episode of tour reviews specifically related to the Road to 70.3. And today I'm going to be talking about the Garmin Forerunner 645 Music. It's not a brand new watch. I actually bought it about a year ago and didn't take it out of my drawer for probably about 8 months, as I just was in a really big stop and start process with my own running and just did not feel inspired to track anything until the last few months. That said, as I've sort of dove into heart rate based training, tracking my running, tracking my cycling, this watch has been the probably most essential thing and tool that I've had in this process. So there it is. You can see it there. You can see it's got a heart rate monitor built into the strap itself. For reference, you can kind of see how big it is on my wrist. It's really small. I got the all black version. I think it looks really sleek. I wanted it because I wanted to be able to play music through it as well and not have to carry my phone around with me. So there was a lot of features that seemed appealing, but I was also really unsure how good it was going to work. I had only had one running watch before. It was about 6-7 years ago, and when I was still living in Vancouver leading up to my marathon, and I didn't look at any of the features. I literally started it and stopped it when I would start the run and finish the run, and even the idea of splits was always confusing to me. So I've never been a really scientifically tech-based tracking runner or athlete or anything in that realm. So this is the most I've ever gotten out of one of these types of products, and that said, it's still relatively streamlined, as all of my training has been heart rate based. I'm not really looking at pace. I'm not really looking at splits. So it's really focused on that. And for that reason, even though I did start off using this, both running and cycling, measuring my heart rate, the wristwatch is not supposed to be very good for tracking that. With all the jostling and moving around of your wrist, it's just not that reliable. So I have also got the HRM Pro from Garmin, which straps around your chest. I got one of these with my first watch. I wore it once. It gave me crazy blisters, so I never wore it again, and I've always been scared to since. This experience has been much better. The reading is good. It syncs with the watch and Garmin Connect really well, and I haven't had any blisters. And I am now working on my tan line that will showcase my commitment to Garmin and trusting my heart. But this is really simple. There's not a lot to these. I do highly recommend them. They're not crazy expensive. It'll help you get a lot more out of your watch or your bike computer or whatever it is, and you'll just get a lot more accuracy if you're using heart rate based training zones for your work. So back to the watch. It's been pretty good, not without its faults, and I don't know how much of that is me, how much of that is Apple changing and splitting up iTunes into Apple Music and Apple Podcasts, but I have not been able to get an audiobook or a podcast or Spotify to work on this watch. The only way I can get music to work on it is by directly uploading real music files through Garmin IQ on my desktop while it's plugged in. And for me, that means a lot of Lil Wayne, because those are the only things I have downloaded. So I've been really trying to figure out how to get Spotify working where I can have much more diverse mix of music, playlists, podcasts, and so on. But I just haven't been able to figure out how to access it through this watch. I don't know if it's because it's a slightly older model or what. That said, the pairing with my ear pods for running is really seamless, really easy to move back and forth from my phone, start this up, and it plays well. It rarely ever cuts out. I haven't had really any issues, and so the music overall has been a much better, smoother experience than I expected, which I really do like when I'm running. Rarely do I run with no music, and maybe that's something to look into, but I like it, so I listen to it, and this facilitates that, where I can run really streamlined, lightweight, and not have to carry anything else with me, which is super good. So the other thing that I really like about this watch, and many of the newer Garmin features include this, but I can track my swimming in a pool, I can track my bike rides, I can track my runs, I can even select things like a hike or a paddle board if I want to. But in terms of triathlon and the Road to 70.3, it really is a one-stop shop. It's not going to give me power and cadence, things like that on the bike that might be really useful and helpful, but it gives me everything I need, especially as I'm starting out at this point. So I'm pretty happy with how robust it is in that sense. Another thing that I've been really excited about, actually, which I didn't expect, is that I just signed up for my first triathlon training plan. It's an 18-week, 70.3, heart rate based, beginner level training plan by Matt Fitzgerald. And I bought it through Training Peaks for about $80. And the surprise that was awesome is that those workouts, I can connect Garmin to Training Peaks. And so if my schedule has got a run on it or a bike ride or a swim, when I go to select a bike ride or a run or a swim on the watch, it asks me, do you want to do the workout? So it syncs the workout straight to the watch, which makes it really easy to follow. And it'll give you cues, it'll show you the heart rate, show you your pace, and show your time. So a lot of the runs, for instance, will be like a 5-minute warm-up in zone 1, maybe 10 minutes in zone 2, then maybe 10 minutes in zone 4, whatever it is, and it's giving you cues and countdowns, beeps. Same with on the bike. So it makes it really easy to follow, because I was looking at Training Peaks and being like, okay, how am I going to remember every 5 to 10 minutes to up my heart rate, down my heart rate, what's the cool down, what were the intervals, especially as some of the workouts get more complicated. But that goes straight through the watch with really easy to follow cues. The setup was almost seamless, so that's been a huge positive bonus for this watch, and probably other Garmin products as well. I would like to get a bike computer in the near future, but I am just trying to be efficient with money, and so far this has been the biggest bang for the buck. Currently, this is not even available still on the Garmin website because it's a slightly older model, I don't think. But you can get it through REI. You can get it for a really good deal through Amazon, depending on how you feel about buying things through Amazon. It's much cheaper on Amazon. That is where I bought mine. And so in terms of that, it's really good value. Getting to listen to music, Training Peaks workouts straight to it. You can do swimming, running, cycling, and more. The battery is pretty solid. Haven't had any issues with that. Super easy and fast to recharge. The size aesthetic is really good. There's more features on here than I know how to access and use, and I kind of choose that as well. I don't want to be obsessive about data. I just wanted to use it as training wheels to help me guide myself. In the end, really being able to feel the different zones, feel the exertion level, feel the stress on the body, and be able to do that by feel is the ultimate goal. But as this is a new experience for me, these are new zones, I'm learning this process for myself, and most of us really still fall into that category, even professionals. This is a great tool for that. I think it's pretty much essential if you want to be doing any sort of endurance sport, any sort of sprinting, that sort of thing could be really helpful. But multi-sport, triathlon, running and cycling especially, it's been really good. I do hope to up my game with one of the Garmin bike computers. For whatever reason, I was drawn to Garmin. They're classic. I felt more familiar with them, but from what I know, the Wahoo watch, the Wahoo bike computers are really good and have a little bit more of an intuitive phone connection. These ones are a little bit clunky. You have to have Garmin IQ, Garmin Connect. Then if you're using Strava, then you've got Training Peaks, then you've got your music. So it's a little bit clunky in terms of that experience, but for me, I've just tried to streamline it as much as possible for myself for the needs that I have at this point, and it's been really good. So there it is. Works super good in the water, handles a lot of sweat, which I definitely am putting out, and looks pretty good as well. The size of this I find is really good. Some of the watches are too big. I just don't like how big they are. So that is the Garmin Forerunner 645 Music. I use it with the HRM Pro heart rate monitor, and that pretty much is all you need. Of course, you can have a million more things, but it's been really essential for these first 5 months of building sort of a base. And now as I'm really diving into this 18-week proper training plan, building up to my first really short triathlon, this is more than enough, and I do recommend it. I've had a good experience with Garmin products and this watch, and maybe there's going to be some more good surprises like Spotify working for me on it. Thank you. See you next time.